Good morning, folks, and welcome to the Sabi Sands, South Africa. We're here on Djuma and Arathusa, and it is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful morning. And sorry about the delay. One of the repeaters, our most important repeater of the three that helps pick up our signal, had for some reason decided to switch itself off, so we shot up here as quick as we could to switch it back on, and thankfully it is all working, so that is great. We've got Jason on camera this morning.
Morning.
And Alex in the control room. So that is who is here on the ground working for Wild Earth today. The good thing about the route we've had to take to come and fix the Gauri repeater is that now we are very close to a beautiful, beautiful lookout point, which we are going to stop at shortly. Just show you the view from this little open clearing to give you an idea of the beauty and splendor that is surrounding us out here today. Where is the best spot for me to stop going to be? I think I may have already come a bit too low down, but yeah, I've come too low down, so just hold on for a few more moments, folks, until I find a slightly better spot. So the plan is for the initial part of this morning to head towards the lion which have made a buffalo kill. It's now their third day on this kill, so it is beginning to get rather smelly, but we will try and position the vehicle in a place where we don't have too much of that buffalo carcass stench and see what the lion are up to. I'm not sure whether the lion will move off today and finish that kill. I'm hoping that at some stage whilst we are live this does happen, because there's a lot of hyena that know about the remains that the lions will be leaving behind, as well as vultures. So if we can be there when the lion do decide to move off, we can expect to see a lot of great interaction between the hyena initially fighting over the remains of the buffalo, and then after the hyena, the vultures will certainly be squabbling over the smaller little bits of leftovers. So again, a good point or lesson about how nature does clean up everything so well is about to get showed to us, hopefully, by the hyena and the vultures, because that is their role, cleaning up all the leftovers and ensuring every last little nutrient gets recycled back into the nutrient cycle. For any of you who may be joining for your first time, welcome on board. It's good to have you with us. And what is important to know is that it is an interactive safari, so you can ask us questions at any stage, and Alex in the control will try and get those questions to me as best as he can. And to do that, you would hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and on email it would be questions@wildearth.tv. Okay, there is a herd of wildebeest here, which I think we should spend some time with. So I'm just going to get into position, and then we shall have a look. Oh, wonderful, look at this. Okay, we're in for a treat, folks. I'm just going to get into a good spot quickly and get the sun directly behind us, because the lighting that the sun is providing us with now is absolutely spectacular. So I just want to ensure we make the most of this. And one of the wildebeest calves started running around playfully, so I'm hoping that that calf will continue to do that and entice the rest of the calves in the herd to start playing. Now I've stopped here, not because of the wildebeest that are moving out of shot, but for the black-bellied bustard just over there, Jason, on the ground. It's a beautiful bird, and while the rest of the wildebeest feed towards us, we can keep an eye on him. Hopefully he will do his alarm call. Oh, hold on. Not his alarm call, sorry, their mating call. It's a very, very comical call and a pretty one to watch. So let's hope he does that call. If not, here come the wildebeest. Beautiful, Jason. Look at this beautiful morning light, and they're feeding straight towards us. And let's see if these calves don't start playing around. Oh, there goes the black-bellied bustard. We made space for the gnu's. You can hear the odd bleat from a calf. Here's some on the left, Jason. That may be a little bit more. No, it just stopped. Incredible to see how quickly these calves are growing. They're probably, on average, a month old now, and they've probably doubled in size. Oh, wonderful. Here comes some running through the screen right in front of the bonnets. Awesome. Look at them. They're more coming from the left here, Jason, to check us out to the left more. Look at how inquisitive they are. This is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. This is the first time that they have ever come up to the vehicle, and just like most young animals are, these wildebeest are very inquisitive, and they're only a few feet from the front of the vehicle. Shame, this one's got an injured hoof, the one at the back, and that's why it's limping. Shame, I wonder what happened to it. It will be worth us keeping an eye on that individual, because now that I've seen that, I can't help but feel that it's going to have to hope for the best over the next few weeks, because any small disability out here can prove fatal. When predators are come across a herd of animals like this, they will obviously search for the weakest individuals and can recover from some injuries that you would never think possible. We're going to loop around one more time and get in front of them and hope that they do continue to feed towards us. It is getting a lot warmer every minute that goes by, so I'm hoping they aren't going to be seeking refuge in the shade already, but I think it's just through default that they are grazing in this direction. Well, folks, some of you may have been on drive with myself 2 days ago, and we did, funnily enough, see a very newly born wildebeest calf. I think we were actually minutes behind seeing the mother give birth, and I think we saw its first shaky steps. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because a few moments ago I mentioned that the wildebeest calves, on average in this area, would probably be around a month of age, and they do all kind of drop at a very similar period. Whereas with the specific individual from 2 days ago, it was 2 days late. which is just interesting that it was born so much later than any other. Sorry, we haven't got the best angles here. It's quite thick. But like I said, I think they will feed towards us. Oh, look. Interestingly enough, this appears to be the same herd from quarantine clearings that's moved over here. We can see what looks to be the mother of Brian. She's got a very distinctive deformed horn. And her calf was named after Brian, the cameraman. There was also one named after Wiem, myself and Peter, and most recently Hayden, the one that was born a few days ago. The viewers suggested we should call it Hayden, and I think that was a great idea. Anyway, folks, I think we did get the best out of these wildebeest on the way, on their first trip past us, so we shall continue towards the line before it does get too hot, because I would like to one last look at them from here. They are just so beautiful, these young calves. I find it incredible how quickly their horns are beginning to protrude. Like I say, they're probably only a month old, and already look at those little horns protruding. Cute. Look at how long the eyelashes are as well. That is incredible. Beautiful, beautiful morning light. Okay. Well, a short but quality sighting with these beautiful wildebeest, but it is time for us to continue now, so we shall do that. Bird making an almighty racket in this tree to our left. Yeah, one of these trees, I think it's in the buffalo thorn tree. I just want to try and establish exactly why it is making such a racket in there. What is making me less suspicious is that there could be a predator or a snake in that tree, is that there would typically be more birds that would have come to its aid and come to increase the number of eyes mobbing whatever it may be. But I still cannot resist the opportunity to... Okay, interesting. What we've got here is a bird's nest, folks. No, I don't know how, if we're gonna... Okay. Well, isn't that wonderful, folks? I heard this one bird making a racket, and you can see it there. Now, these are magpie shrikes or long-tailed shrikes, and it's the first time I've ever seen one of their nests. And as you can see, it looks like quite a haphazard structure. And you wonder why that individual was calling, whether it was the male or the female. Let's just see if we can get it flying out so we can see its long tail. Oh, well done. We got a glimpse there. Let me try and see where they've landed, because they are very, very pretty birds. But isn't that wonderful to know that they've got a nest here, and we were parked just a few meters away earlier and had no idea. But thankfully, that call that she started letting out indicated to us that indeed there was not a problem, but rather a nest. Maybe she was having a altercation with her partner for not bringing her enough food while she was incubating. Or perhaps there are some tiny chicks in there, but hard to tell. If we do pass back by her though, we will, in the next few days, we will keep an eye on them, and it is something wonderful to monitor. Little birds' nests. So that's another one to add to the nests we are monitoring. Wonderful. We've got mainly hornbill nests so far. Got a question that's just come through from David in Chicago. Good morning, David. How are you doing? And welcome on board. Now, David is asking how close the wildebeest are to the lion and if they are heading towards them. And Dave, that is a good question, because they are indeed heading towards the lion. They're probably about half a mile away from them at the moment, and in that space they could veer off drastically. But thankfully for these wildebeest, I don't think they've got too much to worry about. The lion have been feeding on this buffalo for 3 days, and yes, I know they will certainly take any opportunity they can to make another kill, but they've almost specialized in hunting buffalo, this specific coalition, and the buffalo are a little bit slower and easier to get onto, not necessarily easier to bring down and kill, but a little bit easier to actually bring down than a wildebeest. The thing that makes it tricky once the lion have brought down a buffalo is that often the herd can return and try and chase off the lion. So I don't think the wildebeest have anything to worry about for now, but good question, and they are certainly heading towards them. A few hyena tracks heading up and down this road, which is no surprise. There's probably been a lot of traffic of hyena. Rather than waiting there for, it would have been 2 days now, or 3 days, as soon as the lion killed that buffalo, rather than waiting the whole time for the lion to finish the kill and move off, then allowing the hyena a chance to feed on the bones and the leftovers, a lot of hyena will come, check, move off if there's no luck, because sorry folks, it's just a beautiful opportunity to get some dwarf mongoose peeking their head out of their holes first thing in the morning. Look at that. We had a great sighting a few days ago of these dwarf mongoose playing in the road. These are still sunning themselves at the base of their, or at the entrance to their burrows within this termite mound. And there's a few scurrying through the grass. Morning. That little noise I was making was the closest I can do to dwarf mongoose chat. It's similar to the sound they make when they are alarmed, and hence their response, so they peeked their heads up at us and showed us some interest. Really, really cute animals, but we'll leave them to it. Don't want to get in the way of starting their day. Wonderful. Who would have thought that they live in just this tiny little patch in the ground, and beneath those little mounds of sand will be a network of tunnels that they live in. Okay, I'm just going to get a quick update to see if there are any vehicles at that lying sighting, to make sure I don't go there and be an extra vehicle that is not expected. Are there any stations on Vuyatela access with the Ngala? copy that. Thanks very much. I would like to make my way there. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful lilac-breasted roller. It does look like a juvenile. That could well have been born a few months ago, but I would like to just double check with my binoculars. Yes, it looks like it could be a youngster that's just been born. It didn't have... Bless you.
Thank you.
Romeo was just sneezing there as it took off. Hence why I couldn't follow it, but no problem. It has moved off, and it was just a brief visual of what looked to be a juvenile lilac-breasted roller. The adults have a far brighter lilac and turquoise. Now, I heard one doing their mating call the other day, and you can sometimes get them excited and cause them to do it, and what they do is they shoot up, fly up directly into the sky and then tumble down in a very impressive display. So I just want to see if we can get it to do it again. Like I said, I did hear one doing it the other day, their call, so I think they are starting to pick up the breeding spirits. Now, if we hear it start calling, what we can expect is shortly after it's finished its call, it does this directly vertical flight about 30 feet up into the air, and then simply stalls its engine and tumbles back down to the ground, and just before hitting the ground it swoops off. Come on. I think it's still a bit too early in their mating season, so sadly that one didn't play along, but we will get them to do it one day. I think it could have also been a little bit scared by the fact that it was in the road and got a little bit chased off by the vehicle. Where we cut out a while back, so we are approaching the remains of the buffalo carcass. We didn't actually manage to look at it. We headed straight back to a repeater to try and tweak something, which did seem to work for now. So we're not sure what is going on here, and won't it be interesting to find out what has happened through the night. Where are the lion? They could be anywhere now. They've been lying all over this area. They could have moved under some shade if they weren't already there, as it is getting hot.
Left.
Here we go. And they're up, which is a huge surprise. Let's see what they're doing. I think I'm going to stay with this other one here, because it is heading towards the carcass, it looks like. No, let's just lay down. As also, they're obviously just greeting one another. There's one over there. So we just missed them greeting one another. The kill looks to be mostly finished from the angle where we parked now, but let's go and have a closer look. On the way to the kill, we will pass the second lion that we did see briefly now. He has just laid down. quite close to the vehicle where we'll be passing by, but it shouldn't be an issue. Oh, morning, boy. How are you? Oh, is this a third one in here, or is it a second one that's just come back?
Third one.
Third one. Just want to have a quick look at the kill and then follow this third one that's just got up to move. It may go and drink, which would be wonderful to see. Got a hooded vulture nearby, perched up on a branch there waiting for these lions to move off. And what the vulture is waiting for is what you can see over here. The meager remains of this buffalo kill. And not a lot has been wasted, as you can see. I would guess some vultures may have already been feeding on it, judging by the way the meat has been cleaned between the ribs, but there is certainly a lot more to go there. But for the meantime, it's just the flies that are on it. It's incredibly smelly here, so I'm going to try and get out as quick as possible. This is incredibly unpleasant. There's a big hole behind us here, so I'm going to try not to reverse into it. Okay, so the hyena and the vultures do still have a little bit of meat worth waiting for, and I'm wondering if these lions aren't going to move. Oh, hold on.
Still half carcass.
Ah, there's still half a carcass in here. Interesting. So they managed to tear the carcass in half, and sadly it's just so thick enough. We're going to battle to be able to show you, but we can try. You can just see a dark form, and that is the remains of the buffalo. Not a lot is left there though. I'm just going to see if we can follow these lions while they are moving about, because I don't think they'll be moving about for much longer. Where have they gone? I'm hoping for a drink, but maybe not. No, here's one, but it's at least lying out in the open. And as you can see, he's taking some time now to groom himself. It's messy business feeding on a 3-day-old buffalo, so good to see that he's doing some grooming. It is really remarkable how these animals do keep so clean, considering the lifestyles they live. He's focusing on those massive paws now. A hugely important part of their anatomy, those paws. They'll be the first part of that lion to latch onto any prey. So without those front paws, they'd be in a very tricky spot when it comes to coming to catch things, because those paws have incredibly long nails, claws that can be protracted forward when they need to be, and help bring down whatever prey they're looking for. Now, it started off as a beautiful cool morning, but every minute that passes by now it is beginning to start cooking. And that is why you can see he's chosen a nice shady spot, and for now he doesn't look too uncomfortable. But as the day progresses, even in the shade, it's going to be blisteringly hot. So I do not envy how these lions will be feeling shortly. full bellied and exceptionally hot. The questions just come through from Kim on email. Morning, Kim. How are you doing? Now, Kim has asked how ripe the buffalo is smelling, and it is smelling exceptionally ripe. And that is why we didn't stay for too long in the close proximity to that carcass, because it is exceptionally smelly. Just thought I'd reposition slightly here so we can see the front half of him. Oh, hello boy, sorry. Oh, just right here, we didn't mean to alarm him. I was also just trying to get off this road, which is a main access road in and out of the camp, to Djuma camp, and the Djuma camp manager was heading past, possibly on her way to town to pick up some supplies. Now, we have spent a lot of time watching these lions sleeping around this carcass, and I really don't think there's going to be too much more activity. The vulture may pop down to feed, but the lion will get up and chase them off every now and then while the lion is still here. So I don't think we are going to have any great action here. Spend some time with some elephants. And if not the elephants, anything else that decides to play along with us this morning. Okay, awesome. We've got one of the other males that looks to be coming to join from our right, join the rest of his buddies, of the members of this Birmingham coalition. He is just about to pop through, but he has stopped temporarily. I'm hoping he'll continue to walk past, because if he does, we're going to have a spectacular view of him. Come on, come and say hello to your friends. You see, the problem is now, here he comes. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful to see them moving around in this morning light. You get a great idea of their size and strength when they are up and moving. Unlike now, when they can look a lot less intimidating. Beautiful. So he's just decided to come a little bit closer to his friends, and that is normal with lions. They're highly social cats, unlike any other cats in the world. So a very unique adaptation that they've made, and that is to live cooperatively with other cats. And they are just in such good condition, these young males. You can see those teeth are still perfect, white, shiny, sharp. As they become older, they can often look a lot less sharp and white. Now, there's a hooded vulture perched up on our right hand side, and I think we should keep filming it, because my prediction is in the next minute or 5 it will fly down from this perch and go, and what I think would be resume feeding on the on the carcass. Now you can also see some other vultures framed in the background, which is wonderful, because you can see the difference then between the hooded vulture, which is the one in the foreground, and the white-backed vultures, which are the ones in the background. You can only see one very well. Now, the hooded vultures are a lot smaller than the white-backed, and therefore feed on areas of the buffalo that, or any carcass that the white-backed vultures can't get to. And it's going to try and get in there and get as much feeding done as possible before the white-backed vultures come in and overpower it. So, like I said, because these lions have moved away a bit now, the vultures will come down. So rather than waiting from here to watch this all unfold, I would rather get into position where we can see them actually coming down onto the carcass. Okay. Now I don't want to go too close because that may make them a little bit of... Sorry Alex, if you could just go with the name again, I've got the question. Colleen from Winnipeg's just asking if these lions are panting because of the heat or because they are full. Sorry folks, now I'm trying to get into a position where we can film and also see the carcass from, so that if they do come down we don't have to move the vehicle. So now we are in position. Colleen, morning and welcome on board. Back to your question. The reason why they're panting is a combination of the two things that you mentioned. They are certainly full-bellied, and they are certainly getting warmer or hot already. Now they will pant for two reasons here. Now that is that, one, they've consumed so much meat that their stomach is pushing up against their diaphragm, therefore forcing them to take short, sharp breaths as opposed to regular deep breaths. So that full belly does cause them to breathe more heavily alone, and the fact that it is exceptionally hot means that, yes indeed, they are panting just as we had said. Now I'm glad to see that we got to see this hooded vulture ruffle its feathers, because that may be a sign that it is planning to fly on down and start feeding on this carcass. And the good news is that when the first vulture comes down, the fact that it's having a poop now is also a good one, lightening the load before it comes into land. Now what we will expect to see is the hooded vulture to come down first, which is the one we have got in shot, and then I can see two white-backed vultures very nearby, and there's a lot more in the surrounding trees that just aren't near us. That vultures will prefer to perch in dead trees. So like I said, there are a lot around us, and as soon as the first one hits the ground, the rest of them will come squabbling in. So I think it is worth waiting for. The lion are certainly far away enough, I think. But then again, I'm not the vulture that's going to be running around trying to steal the lion's food. Let's give it a moment or two. And it is great to see these vultures not miles up in the sky, as we so often do see them. It requires often a large kill to attract the vultures in, and we don't get too many buffalo kills in this area, so when we do get one, it brings us great quality in terms of lion sightings, hyena sightings, and also the vultures, which we don't often get to see. It's getting twitchy, this vulture. Now we're very fortunate that the wind is blowing in the perfect direction to get the smell of the buffalo away from us. However, as I finished that sentence, we got a swirl and we did get some buffalo. There's something else that's very nice that I haven't been able to show you, and that's the call and call display made by yellow-billed hornbills. Now they are quite far away, but we can see them perched at the top of this tree. Oh, there they go. There they're doing it. Wonderful. So if we just stay on them for a few more seconds, we'll notice that. Sorry, it's a very difficult angle for Jason now. He's bending over backwards to point the camera there. Now let's keep watching. When they do their call, they hold their wings up as if we would be holding our hands above our heads. Here they go. Yeah! Awesome. I've been wanting to show you that for a long time, and this has been the first opportunity. And I'm hoping they'll do it again. They've already done it 3 times in the last 30 seconds, so let's see if they don't give us one last. Here they go. Such comical birds, and so nice for us to be able to show you the birds that you so often hear while we are driving around. Now back to the hooded vulture, who we are hoping is going to officially open the buffalo buffet to the rest of the vultures in the area. We just need one of them with enough courage to come down and land, and the rest will follow suit. And just to give you an idea where the buffalo carcass is in relation to us and the vulture, just so you know how close it is, you can try and zoom in on the carcass. Now it's a very difficult angle, but we needed to position ourselves in one spot so that if the vultures do start feeding and come down, we don't have to start the vehicle up again, because that could chase them off. So not far away at all, probably 25 feet away from what would be a very tasty breakfast for the vulture. It's looking twitchy again. Is it gonna come down? Some great camera work here from Jason. Thanks, Jason. Always enjoyable having you on camera. But what we need now is a little test for Jason, and that test would be if the vulture flew down from this carcass, well, from this, well, I suppose it's the carcass of a knobthorn tree that it's sitting in, the skeleton of a knobthorn tree. But we needed to leave this dead tree and come down and open the feeding ceremony for us. But there doesn't appear to be a lot going on Game Drive today. The Game Drive channel is very quiet. So there's nothing else that I'm aware of going on out there. But that could well change at any stage. It's still early. We're still not even halfway through the drive. Oh, look at him looking down. This is a good sign. Yes, keep looking around. The lion aren't here. The coast is clear. And we would highly, highly enjoy a moment of you feeding on this buffalo, so do fly down from your perch. Now interestingly, if you zoom in as much as you can, this hooded vulture has already been feeding, and I should have noticed this earlier, but what you can see is just below its neck there's a little white patch on its chest, and this little white patch is bulging out And the reason why this little patch is bulging out is because it's a pantry. It's a storage device or a crop that vultures have, and I've been told that they can store up to 1.5 kilograms of meat in their crop. I think it would obviously depend on the various species, but, and this being the smallest little vulture, possibly not as much as 1.5 kilograms of meat, but you can see that little white bulge protruding from the base of its neck, and that is already filled with meat. So like I said when we first had a look at this carcass, it does look like the vultures have been allowed a moment to feed on this carcass briefly, I'm sure, because they have managed to clean off some of the meat from between the ribs. And now the fact that this one is here with already not an overly filled crop, but it's already got some meat in the pantry, it's going to be less likely to take chances. We would prefer a vulture with an empty crop that hasn't fed to be in pole position here. Having said that, though, it is sitting close for a reason. It does want to be nearby the action, so I'm sure it is planning on doing some more feeding. Now, there's certain things out here that are just worth waiting for, and this is one of them, so we can just enjoy the sounds and the sights of this vulture before it starts getting its beak dirty. The smell of the buffalo, thankfully, is predominantly being blown away from us, but every now and then there's a bit of a swirl in the wind and we get a whiff of this smelly carcass. Well, there's some vultures that appear to be flying above us, and it's going to be difficult to get onto them, but it'll be worth trying to show you some other vultures soaring over. It'll be interesting also to see if they don't decide to come down and land here, because they'll certainly be able to see. Oh, well done, that's beautiful. So they certainly will be able to see the vultures sitting down here. All the way from up there, they can apparently see a very large, a very small piece of meat from a mile up in the sky. They can apparently see a 5 centimeter radius piece of meat. So I think that's why we have got some circling above us. It is difficult because they are right above us. The camera doesn't retract or bend that far backwards on the tripod. But let's see if we can't try and show you these vultures circling above us. It is a beautiful, beautiful scene, and one worth trying to show you even if it doesn't work out. Where are they hiding now? There they are. Well done. I think. Or am I dreaming? No, there they are, way up in the sky above us, folks, and this is such a great shot because even though we zoomed in, you can see how small these birds are. They are way up in the sky above us. So I'm so glad the camera managed to bend back as far as it did, because this is such a unique sight. And they don't appear to be coming down any low. They're probably assessing the situation from there before they decide to abandon the thermal that they are effortlessly floating along. Imagine being able to fly like that, consuming hardly any energy at all. effortless flight. And the view from up there must be another story. But I think even from all the way up there they can assess the situation down on the ground here. Hence the fact that we don't see them plummeting towards us, but I think it was a reason why they did come over to investigate. They probably saw the vultures that are perched around us, flew by to investigate and decided against coming. Now back to the hooded vulture that we are hoping for. We're hoping will come down and start the feeding frenzy, but I'm not having much luck at the moment. It initially did show some signs of movement. It was twitching around from side to side, but now it has seemed to calm down. Go ahead. It's just myself at the moment. Yes, you're more than welcome. Excuse me, I just needed to let somebody know that he's welcome to come and join us here. Now, what kind of a time limit are we going to give on this? Jason, what do you think?
I'd give another 5.
Another 5, good. That was my feeling as well. So 5 more minutes here, and in that 5-minute period we all need to try and hope as much as we can that this vulture comes down to feed. It really will be nice to see them cleaning up this carcass. Beautiful with the sunlight that's now poked out onto it. And all these little movements that we're seeing it doing, little bits of preening, that little yawn it just did, are all good indicators that it is getting a bit restless. And the lion are certainly far enough away now for these vultures to risk a flight down to the buffalo carcass. Oh, wonderful, we've got another eagle soaring in the background. What was that? Those look like more vultures. Oh no. Okay, the one that is in shot now is a vulture, I think, but there's an African hawk eagle in amongst them, it looks like. Or is it a brown snake eagle? It's a black-chested snake eagle. Beautiful. So the one now that is in shot is what I think to be a black-chested snake eagle, and the one below is a vulture. And it's just so wonderful this time of the morning. On a hot day, all the raptors do start flying around, and it's really, really beautiful to watch. Jason, there is one that seems to be low down and coming in towards us, but maybe not. Let's keep an eye on it. No, it's also just doing its best to get onto that thermal. But how beautiful watching the one vulture in the foreground and the other raptors soaring through the background. Bless you.
Okay.
A lot of cloud build-up. Now, you, I'm sure, have even noticed that, because we've been parked here for probably 10 minutes now, and in that 10-minute period you can see the banks of clouds building to the south of us. And sadly what that could mean is a little bit of rain this afternoon. That is where the bad weather comes from, but it is too soon to panic. A question has just come through from Lisa. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome on board. Lisa's asked if there's a pecking order with vultures when feeding on a kill. And yes, Lisa, there certainly is. There are certain vultures that are bigger than others. So, oh, what have I just done? I just pressed a button on the radio. Let me make sure I'm still on all the right channels. I think I am. Sorry, Lisa. So, there are various different sized vultures. The biggest are the lappet-faced in this area, and also the white-headed vulture. So those are the two largest, and due to their size they can command hierarchy in the pecking order, so they will be the highest up and biggest and strongest, probably getting access to the best portion of the kill to feed on. Thereafter comes the white-backed vulture, which is sitting in the tree here, and what's quite nice, let's zoom in on that there, Jason. And the white-backed vulture is the one on the left, and if you just try and frame both of them, and the hooded is on the right, okay, and this is such a great opportunity to show you the size difference between the two. I mean, look at the bill of the white-backed vulture on the left compared to the bill of the hooded vulture on the right. Now there we go. Thank you. It put up its bill at the right time. So just their beak size shows you that one is definitely bigger and bulkier than the other, and therefore this places the hooded vulture at the bottom of the queue in the pecking order. So at least I hope that does answer your question. What is important to say though, even though there is a pecking order between the different types of vultures that we get in this area, we typically find that the majority of vultures on any carcass are the white-backed vultures, the one on the bottom left of the shot now, and therefore due to their numbers we find a lot of the competition happening between them, so intra-species competition, and there's a lot of squabbling and squawking and pecking and feather pulling that goes on when they do start feeding on a kill. So that is some action to look forward to. I am, however, losing hope in these vultures' courage to come down and feed. They are concerned that the lion may come down and try and swat them away. The lion were far away from them, far enough, I presumed, for them to come down. But maybe the fact that these vultures have already managed to sneak in a small feeding. Yes, here comes one. But is it not going to land? No, it flew away. It flew even further away. Well done. We thought we were in at the moment that I saw the other hooded vulture that was perched on the right hand tree excuse me, fly down. But it didn't land. It ended up just flying past. So maybe that vulture was like the rest of the vultures we saw soaring above us, waiting for the hot thermals to start rising up from the earth before taking off. And it looks like this white-backed vulture on the right has done the same thing. So let's see if it doesn't take off shortly as well. They'll be watching the other vultures circling around us, and this would have indicated to them that it is actually time to get some easy flying now that the thermals are starting to come up. Just got a question come through from Trent in Fiji. Now, good morning, Trent, I hope all is well in Fiji, and glad to have you on board with us. Trent is asking whether vultures are strictly scavengers. Oh, there it goes. Both of them, all of them. Everybody's leaving with their full crops, full of meat. So, after I've answered Trent's question, we will move out of here. But, as I was saying, Trent, the vultures are strictly get the broadcast back, because we've seen some beautiful vultures soaring here above us. We didn't get to see them feeding, but we can see them all streaming off now in one direction. Now, they were all riding a thermal together, and as soon as they got high enough, they all have started beelining in one direction, and that is to the north. Who knows what they're going to there. It looks like they may actually be trying to ride another thermal there before they take their next little free flight north. Oh, look here in the foreground. Go down into the knobthorn tree. Got beautiful lights on a starling and a hornbill there, and those vultures are kind of gone, and they will pass by in the background. Even better. So folks, look at that beautiful yellow-billed hornbill with the vultures soaring away in the background. And they've actually started another thermal there, so let me just reposition the vehicle slightly. So they're obviously staggering their movements, and that is to get the easiest flight possible. So they ride one thermal high enough to soar in the direction they want to go to, and as soon as they get too low, they just pick up another thermal, climb again, and that's what we can see them all doing now, just circling around, keeping in that thermal. And it'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to climb up and then continue descending to wherever they plan on going today. There's been some incredible research done on vultures where they've been tagged with radio transmitters, and they can travel as far as 200 miles easily in a day, and that's in one straight direction. So with the incredible eyesight, they can see other vultures flying in certain directions, and if enough vultures are heading in one direction, there's enough that they can read into that to know that there's meat, and they can travel, like I say, huge distances in order to find carcasses to feed on. And that is one of the negatives of being a scavenger. You have to travel a huge distance and rely on other animals to feed you. And a lot of waiting around these vultures have to do. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Great work on the camera there, Jason, as always. I just find it so relaxing to watch these animals floating about. And I'm certainly envious of the view they're going to have from up there. Okay, folks, well, that gives you a great perspective of how far they are away from us. Thanks, Jason. Got another question? Okay. Could you just go again with the name, please, Alex? Ellen in Illinois. Okay. Good morning, Ellen. Welcome on board. Ellen's asking if vultures make any noise, and they squawk and squabble between one another when they are at kills competing for good positions to feed from. But other than that, unless they're squabbling and squawking at one another, they don't really have any major calls that you can expect to hear, like the African fish eagle, for example. That's got a very distinctive call that we know is that specific bird of prey. The vultures don't have any distinctive calls that they cry out when they're flying around. So the only time you hear them is when they're fighting over food. Okay. Not much has changed with regards to what other vehicles have found this morning. There don't seem to be too many vehicles out this morning. The radio has been very quiet. So we've got the playground all to ourselves today, which is great, because if we do find something interesting, we're gonna have it all to ourselves. Yet on the flip side of that, it can be difficult to find animals out here, so it's typically best to have as many people here helping in the search for interesting stuff. But just like most things in life, there are positives and negatives to all situations. So we shall just harp on the benefits of being out here alone, and like I say, that is the fact that if we do find something, we will have it all to ourselves, which is first prize. I'm really getting worried about all these clouds that are building up. Not for this morning dive, I'm sure we'll make it through this morning, but this afternoon looks as if it may be a little bit wet. So if you are planning on skipping the wedding that you're supposed to go to this afternoon to watch the drive, just bear in mind that you might be able to sneak off to the wedding, because the drive might be cancelled. But it's too soon to say that. There's some areas that I haven't explored for a few days now, namely Twin Dams and Treehouse Dam. So the plan is to meander our way across there and see what we can find along the way. We've got our first sighting already, and she is a beautiful, beautiful lady. This is a female kudu. They've got these very distinctly shaped large satellite ears that you can see. She's pointing one back at us now, and that's the beautiful thing about being a kudu, is you can swivel your ears independently of one another to pick up audio from whichever direction you want. And look at this oxpecker hopping along. What a beautiful, beautiful shot. So this is a red-billed oxpecker with an incredible ability to hang on to these animals. It's got two claws facing forward and two facing back, much like an oxpecker. Wow, look at that, plucking the the ticks or ectoparasites off the kudu, and there she goes, wow, running for joy. Or running to get away from the oxpeckers. I'm sure it is a little bit painful, but the ectoparasites, the ticks do latch on very well to their hosts, in this case the kudu. So I think as that oxpecker plucked the tick from below the kudu's chin, she got a little bit of a tweak that caused her to run off. So, brief but quality sighting. Still a lot of latent water lying around in the mud wallows and ponds in certain stretches of roads, so it's good to keep you guys in the loop with the water level out here. And after all the rain we got a few days ago, the water table is high. Oh, folks, for all your kind words regarding spending time with the vultures, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. We had some really spectacular views, and like I say, we don't often get to view vultures, so I think it was important to capitalize on that opportunity, not only having the close-up looks at them and being able to show the difference between the hooded and the white-backed, but also being able to see them soar up in the thermals like that. It really is an incredible sight. So we covered a few different bases of the vulture's life. Sadly not their feeding habits this morning, but if you're interested to hear the noise they make, there is quite a nice clip. I'm not sure how easy it'll be to find, but I know it was put up on the Wild Earth website of vultures coming down to feed on a carcass. So that was a few weeks ago that we managed to see that. That was with you.
Yeah.
With Jason as well, was filming. So it was the two of us in a different situation, but we had some really good interaction, and Alex said he's going to try and find that. So if Alex does find that, he'll then make it easily available for you to view. So thank you, Alex. And that'll then give you a good idea of the audio and squabbling and squawking that they perform as they feed. This long straight road is a boundary road between different properties. It is Arathusa on our right hand side, and we do have access to this property, but I don't plan on going there this morning. Well, the good thing about all these clouds that are rolling in now is that it is going to make the last hour of the morning's drive a lot more pleasant for us, and it may also increase the likelihood of animals being active and not seeking refuge in the shade. So good prospects for now, but sadly, like I say, potentially not good prospects for this afternoon. Okay. reason why I want to come into this area is that we last had tracks of Karula and a male leopard. Well, it was a male and a female leopard. I don't like to assume that we know exactly which animals we're following just by their tracks, but we could assume it was Karula and another male leopard. Their tracks headed into this area 2 days ago, and there's a strong chance she could already be mating after having lost her cubs. So by being in this area, it increases our chances of seeing leopards mating. Now, we don't even know if they are mating. It's speculation from me. But what I can tell you is that I have seen leopard in the past lose cubs and as soon as a week afterwards be mating again, so it is possible. And this is the area they were last seen heading towards. It was a few days ago, so they could be anywhere now, but it's our last point of information to work off for them. Thankfully, when leopards do mate, they do make an audio. It's a grumbling, groaning kind of growl. Very short burst, but it can help lead you to them. By hearing them, it's not often that you do hear leopard and then get to move in onto them. It's more likely that they will not vocalize, whereas when they're mating, every 15 to 20 minutes you've got a chance of hearing them let off that short groaning growl. So that is what we will be listening for this morning when we've got the vehicle off. Okay. Just got a question come through from Stephanie, still on the subject of the vultures. Morning, Stephanie, welcome on board. Well, sorry for not explaining further. I did mention the word thermals many times when these vultures were soaring up in the air, and thermals are basically spirals of hot air that are being emitted from the earth as it heats up, as the sun starts to bake down on its surface. These hot thermals or hot spirals of air, basically just hot air rising, as would steam, rise up from the earth, but they do rise up in very specific areas, and they are circular very often, and that's why the vultures stick in these circular motions as they circle up on these thermals, and it basically just allows them to use hot air rising off the earth to carry them up into the sky. So that is all, or the best way that I can describe a thermal. I'm sure there is somebody out there that can do a lot better job of it than me, but it's essentially the earth heating up and circular spirals of hot air that not only vultures but any birds can ride, but it is predominantly the birds of prey that like to ride these thermals up into the higher part of the sky, where they've got a good vantage point for seeing any prey or potential scavenging depending on the species. Thank you for the question though, Stephanie, and I'm sorry if it's not the most scientific of explanations, but I hope you've got an idea of what a thermal is now. Just seen a Wahlberg's eagle L form sitting in a tree not far from us. And I'm hoping if we sit on it for long enough and keep the camera on it, we'll be able to to fly over and peck that Wahlberg's eagle on the back of the head, trying to get it away from the tree. And that's even though the Wahlberg's eagle probably doesn't prove a huge threat to the Wahlberg's, to the Burchell's thing, but just the fact that it is a bird of prey, it gets bracketed into the naughty bunch that the Burchell starlings do not tolerate. Okay, anybody for some water there, Jason? Copy that, thank you, Alex. So 55 minutes to go, folks. What is going to happen over that period of time? Who knows? I don't. I intend to take us past Twin Dams, or Treehouse Dam initially, and then Twin Dams. But what we will see along the way, is a mystery at this stage. That will soon be discovered though. No problem at all. No. I think I just saw two pygmy kingfishers fly. Which are incredibly beautiful woodland kingfishers. Now, that may have been a bad way of describing it. They do live in the bushveld. They're not a woodlands kingfisher, but they're not a water-dependent kingfisher. Oh no! Just took off again. But please, can it be somewhere nearby? It's such a beautiful little bird. Very similar to the Malachite kingfisher.
There's a leopard over there.
Where?
Right, up left.
Oh wow! There's a leopard! Yes! Well done, Jason. You see, folks, now that is what it's all about. Stopping to look for the smaller things, and then you get spoiled with the sighting of a leopard. Now we're going to have to be quick because it's very thick here, folks, and I don't know how on earth we are going to stay with it. But there it is. It looks to be like a male. And let's just hope we are going to be able to stay with it. We have hit the jackpots. Well spotted, Jason.
Thanks.
And while we were scanning for the pygmy kingfisher, Jason called out calmly, but wait, there's a leopard. Wonderful. Now, Jason's just to keep the leopard, and my job is to try to keep us in the general direction that we're moving in. As you can see, it's very thick. So we are going to... Oh, and wet. Oh no. No. Can you not see it? Oh, this is so frustrating. We could try and go through here, we could get stuck. But I think I'm going to chance it, folks. Just hold on the back, because I do need to try and take this a little bit of speed. Okay, we're going for it. All good. Okay. Now to find the leopard again. It's not going to be easy. But we can only try our best. Now all we we can do is hope that the general direction it was moving in is the direction it's going to continue moving, and in that way we can hopefully manage to... Are we going to make it over this tree? No, we're going to have to go around here. Jeez, it's just so thick. And I sadly don't know if we will get another visual of this leopard, folks, but we can only try. Actually, I wonder if we shouldn't head to another road that it is heading towards. I think that would be our best bet. It's just too thick here. Okay, Jason? So folks, we're going to try and loop ahead of it. Sorry folks, making a bit of a meal of this, but it happens from time to time. Okay, we're all good. Whew. Well done Jason for spotting the leopard. Watch the thorns here. Thorns. Yeah, just. Okay. In those few minutes, it could have moved a long distance, folks. Thankfully, we do know its general movements, and I can hear Franklin's alarm calling, and I can almost guarantee you that's where he is now, which also helps us in keeping track of where he is. So. Let me check he's not on this termite mound. No. Just wondering where we should try and get in here again. Oh my gosh, it's thick.
Is that an animal?
Ooh. Okay, well spotted. So now folks, we can see an Inyala. A few Inyala. And I'm sure this leopard is also going to see the Inyala. If it continued heading in the direction it was heading in, it will see them. So now, we need to try and get ourselves into a position where he may be likely to pop out. So this is the Inyala we can see in shot, and it gives you an idea of how thick it actually is here. And I'm guessing that this leopard may well be nearby and keeping an eye on these Inyala. Could in the same breath have walked past and not seen them if it did cross that little riverbed. The Inyala is looking intently towards where the Franklin was alarm calling. Sorry, I am just gonna decide to try and get to another spot, but I'm getting there. I don't want to interfere in any way, so I just have to choose my route in carefully. But I think there is a little gap that's going to get us between where the Inyala are and where we last saw the leopard, and that way hopefully increase our chances of getting a visual on him. What touch it?
There it is. Lying down.
Well done, Jason. Beautiful, look at that, folks. It is indeed a male. I'm going to try and get a close look at him to establish who it could be. But these Inyala are close by, folks, so we are in for a treat here. And look at that great shot of him slinking behind this fallen down tree. He's heading straight towards the Inyala, folks. I'm not sure if he knows that they're here. Judging by the way he's moving, I don't think he does. He's got no idea these Inyala are here, but they don't have an idea that he... Oh, hold on. I think they've seen him. We could hear an alarm call shortly, which sounds much like a dog barking. He's got no... Oh, there we go. That's it. That's the Inyala. It'll do it again, I'm sure. So now, sadly, whatever chance this leopard did have is now over. Oh, he's chasing, but stupidly, he's not going to get anywhere near them. Let's see what happens though. He did chase them much further than I expected him to. And it's brought him out into an area which is better for our viewing, which is great. Hold on, this is going to be a bit of a bump. Oh, no. That's not going to work. Oh well, he did certainly... Oh no. Don't head back into the riverbed, dude. Watch out there. Don't touch. Beautiful. He's just going back down to where he last came from. Let's see if we can get you another visual. Sorry, I haven't had a time to get a decent enough visual on him to get an ID. But he's a beautiful big male leopard. Oof. Testing my operating abilities. Oh, here's a small gap, sorry, and Jason's ability to keep on the seat. Sorry, Jason. I don't know if that's gonna... No. Is he coming into shot there? Or have I just got the angle? I think he's too high up in the bushes there. Okay, well, he is continuing down this riverbed. And we're just gonna have to try and keep linking ahead of him and finding little spots where we can shoot back down to the riverbed in order to stay with him. Well, isn't this great, folks? I mean, we just really didn't know what to expect for the last 50 minutes of drive, and we stopped to have a look at what I thought was a pygmy kingfisher. I'm fairly certain it was. They've got a very distinctive color, beautiful little birds, much like a malachite kingfisher. And then Jason just shouted out that there's a leopard, and sure enough, there was a leopard walking through this thick vegetation. Okay, where is our next point of entry going to be? Sure. This is not ideal country to be following leopard through, but all we can do is try our best. And I'm really happy you got to hear those Inyala alarm calling. Very dog-like bark. It's interesting that even after he chased the Inyala, which I was surprised he did in the first place, he headed back down into this drainage. Now I'm not sure if he's following the scent of another leopard or what's causing him to behave like this, because I thought he could well have just continued to walk in the general direction he was moving in, but not on a set trail. But it appears he has got a very set path that he's following, potentially that of another leopard. The chances of us finding him again are quite slim, but there is a chance. So because he has been following this riverbed, I'm hoping that if we, oh, that's not a good one to go over, that if we do follow him or wait on this riverbed that he has been following, he will come to us. So that is my plan. Ooh, very squidgy here, so I need to make sure we don't get stuck. Oh no, it's all good. So this is where we shall wait. This is a continuation of the little riverbed that he was following. And if he continued at the pace that he was moving at, he should be within a few minutes, depending on how much sniffing around he does in between or how much Inyala chasing he does in between. These are all the variables that we can't predict between now and the time he gets here. But if he continues at the pace he was generally moving at, it should be a few, and the direction, it should just be a few minutes. Before he pops out. And thankfully we do have Jason on board, who was the reason why we saw this leopard in the first place. I certainly wouldn't have seen it. I was busy looking for, look at these blue waxbills here. I'm not sure if you can get them, Jason. Some really pretty little birds here. So while we wait for the leopard to hopefully join us in this position, we will show you these beautiful little birds called blue waxbills. And we've got two in shot now. Well, now one, now none. Oh, well done. Sadly there's a branch in the way, but somehow Jason did manage to follow to the next bush. And they are really pretty little birds. Now what I was hoping for was just like when the Franklin alarm called earlier, thus indicating to us where the leopard was. I'm hoping there are going to be some other little alarm calls that may help indicate to us which direction this leopard's moving in. Alex, do you have any idea from those shots who that could be? It looked like a young male to me, but could be anyone. But if anybody did manage to get a decent look at that leopard, it would be great to know who he was. Okay, well, we've got two people that think it's Djuma. That is certainly possible. So thank you for your suggestions as to who you think it may be. Now, folks, as hard as it is to leave an area that you know you've just seen a leopard in and could well see again, I feel that it's just the odds of him coming up here they were good, but they're getting worse and worse every minute that goes by, because, as I said, if he had continued moving at the pace he was, he should be popping out, or should have popped up round about now. And the fact that he hasn't leads me to think that he could just be potentially lying down in the shade, or have veered off the path following whatever scent trail or whatever trail he was following earlier. Possibly he can smell his mother, Karula, in the area. Maybe she's made a kill, who knows. But so good to have a glimpse of him. Mr. Jason?
No idea.
Okay. Well, I think that we should not be greedy, settle on the brief but very cool sighting of that leopard, and continue. Who knows, on our way out we might bump into him. How am I going to get out of here? Can you just watch the antenna there, please? Thank you. Uh-oh. Got worried for a second there. I thought we may get ourselves into a spot of bother. Oh, some hardcore off-roading today. I hope you guys aren't getting seasick back home. Well, again, Jason, thank you and well done for spotting him. It wasn't easy to do. Very thick bush. But we got spoiled with a very, very unexpected leopard sighting.
Got it.
Sorry. Alexa's in Ohio just asked, sorry Alexa, what an Inyala is. And an Inyala is a type of antelope, a very pretty antelope. So it's a medium-sized antelope that certainly is in the size range of being catchable for leopard. So it is an antelope in this area, and that's the best description I can give you at this stage. Actually, I can do better than that. I'm going to do a better job at this than I actually was going to. And potentially this leopard could pop out here while we wait. So what I'm going to do is find you the Inyala in the book, and then show you exactly what it looks like. But it does have a strangely dog-like bark that it lets out when they see any predators. So This over here is the Inyala page, and Jason can start on the top one. That is an Inyala bull. So that is what the male looks like. And those are the individuals. You could see a dark form in the bush that we showed you briefly. That was a dark male Inyala. And then I'll just show you the females. They're a lighter orangey color with vertical, also the vertical white stripes. Beautiful, beautiful antelope. And thankfully for them, they evaded the leopard this morning. Come out, wherever you may be. Where are you hiding, Mr. Leopard? Like I say, he could have veered off his initial course and come out here. We are going to check this area thoroughly. Sadly, the road is very hard in this specific area, so even if you did walk across it, I doubt I would see his tracks, but the substrate of the road may change. And become easier for me to see tracks. There's a nice soft sandy patch. Copy that, thank you Alex. 30 minutes to go, folks. Got a question that's just come through from Tammy. Good morning, Tammy. How are you doing? Tammy was asking how from sight you can tell the difference between a male and a female leopard, and it's a size. The size obviously makes a big difference. The males are considerably larger than the females, and then also just the body shape. The men tend to be thicker set, bigger, broader heads and necks than the females. So those are the main things to look for. Just size and bulkiness differentiates the two. But they certainly are, and obviously their testicles would be something to look for, which is often hidden behind the tail of a male, but that would be something to look for on the males. But unlike lion, which are much easier to sex, leopard can be a little bit more tricky. But if they are standing next to one another, it's clear as day who would be a male and who would be a female. The individual we just saw now was a young male though, so those are easier to confuse with females than a big old male. Just going to drive down this road again. Going to update the game drives that I did have a brief sighting of Djuma here. Stations had a brief sighting of possibly Djuma heading . Okay, come on. There is a chance he has popped out here, so it's not over yet. Well, our luck continues at an incredible rate. We've been having some wonderful, wonderful sightings over the last few weeks. And I hope it continues. Now, we shall continue on along the road that we initially spotted the leopard on, that Jason initially spotted the leopard on as we had stopped to look for a bird. And again, he could even have changed direction and come out onto this side of the drainage line. So there's a small little riverbed that runs through between these two roads, and you could veer out either side of it. But for some reason he seemed adamant to stick to a certain path, and I'd love to know what exactly it was that was attracting him to that specific area, or to move on that specific line. Go ahead. Sorry, can you go again with that? I just had a brief visual. It's so thick in this area that I've lost him, but he was heading south, parallel to Shibam Road, close to those little mud wallows. Yes. So, sorry folks, I was on the radio there not thinking very clearly, but I think it was Lisa asked earlier about the Inyala, and we showed you in the book. Now I can show you one in real life. Beautiful, beautiful antelope again. These are the males. And these are the same ones that ran away from the leopard. I'm very surprised that it chased them, but again, that's probably because it was a young leopard, and just like humans, young animals do take chances or possibly make decisions that don't make too much sense, and that was one of them, because without the elements of surprise, unless the Inyala was missing 3 of its legs, the leopard will always battle to catch them, or any predator will battle to catch a prey item that is aware of its presence. The elements of surprise with so many of the predators is essential. And as soon as we heard those dog-like barks from, oh, look at the woodland kingfisher! Now, sorry to pan off from that Inyala so quickly, but this woodlands kingfisher did just land and did open its wings to display its beautiful blue feathers, and it may well fan open its wings again. Come on, do it again. If not, something else it may do is fly down and catch an insect. So Romeo is just getting ready for that. Okay, there's it making its call, and now he might open his wings for us if we're lucky. Come on, open your wings and display. Beautiful call that we so often hear at this time of the year. And off he goes. Well, I'm glad we got to show you the Inyala, and now we can continue. I'm interested to see, oh yeah, this leopard was walking straight down the road and he veered off just at the last minute, so we would have found him walking straight down the road. You can see his tracks on the left hand side of the road. They're difficult to see, but you can see those pug marks. I think the closer ones are probably the easier ones for people to see. But you can see those pug marks in the road coming towards us. And then he veered off down into the riverbed. So, interesting to know. So he has probably come from Treehouse Dam, the dam we're heading towards. Yeah, we're right here at the dam, and he does like spending a lot of time around this dam, so we got lucky to see him, that's for certain, but if we had been here moments earlier we may have been luckier, but we have got some other animals here at Treehouse Dam to entertain us, so there is nothing to worry about. Okay. The buffalo are here. Oh, no. Pushed it a meter too far. And he headed off, but there's another one nearby us. I recognize this individual. He tends to have quite a lot of attitude the majority of the times we see him, no different to today. Oh, a little oxpecker coming forward. Hopefully we'll see the oxpecker digging around for some ectoparasites. Come and check in his ears for us. Oh, here he comes. He should pop out below one of those ears. No. Come on, we know you want to. He's trying his best, but sadly the buffalo does flick its ears whenever it gets close. See if you can get the spider hunting wasp, Jason. I know it's not going to be easy. Sorry to do this to you, but now there was a wasp. It's just landed. It's running along the ground, and when it takes off again, hopefully Jason will be able to pan on it for you. It is a slow flying wasp, and a very big one, and it hunts spiders predominantly. So I wonder if I can actually just creep forward a bit, Jason.
There it is.
You got it?
Got it. Bottom right in the grass.
Okay, so it was ferreting around there, and it is looking for spiders, preferably large spiders like baboon spiders that it can catch and kill, and then lay its eggs in so that they have a larder of food waiting for them as they hatch. So they're hardcore wasps, these, the spider hunting wasp. But let's go back to the buffalo now, because it has got a whole bunch of oxpeckers on it, and it is in for a thorough cleansing shortly. You can see one on its hoof feeding, which is quite nice, on its right leg, both legs actually. And you can see it combing through the fur, looking for ticks and ectoparasites. And for some reason the buffalo is giving us a lot of attention, and I'll tell you why. There's a strong chance it can smell the lion. and the smells that the vehicle would have picked up when we were driving around the sighting of the buffalo kill. So I'm guessing that is why he is taking a few steps towards us, just to make sure. Look at them, how well they are cleaning him. He's got a full team of health therapists here tending to the parasites on his body, and it really is remarkable how they manage to cling on to this animal as it tries to shake them off. And I think we're going to have a few more buffalo coming to give us attention. I'm convinced they can smell the lion. There's a strong chance we drove over some lion poop. There'll be a lot of lion poop in that area, and that is, I'm guessing, what they can smell. The wind is also blowing slowly to and get a few last snacks in before the buffalo does potentially begin to wallow in this cool water. And I think the fact that he's just started has made a lot of the other buffalo that were standing around in the shadows jealous of his situation. And now we can see a few more members coming down. Wonderful. Well, I'm glad we stayed, because now we get to see them coming down into the water, and they're in all likelihood gonna get very, very comfortable and spend the whole day here until the later hours of the afternoon. Welcome back, folks. I think potentially the heat that we are experiencing here is causing some technical issues. I'm only joking. I'm not sure what caused that glitch, but what I can tell you is that it is baking hot, and that is why we can see this herd of buffalo bull.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back in the vehicle with us.